Well, Merry Christmas. It's been a pretty trying morning for me. So as you guys notice, I've been screwing around with YouTube, trying to get remonetized, and then they moved the blame from like, okay, so it's not that you're violating policy anymore, it's that your AdSense account is no longer eligible because you have a duplicate out there. I'm like, I don't have a duplicate. I've had the same AdSense account since like 2015. What are you talking about, a duplicate? So I'm gonna keep grinding on this, trying to figure out like what are they talking about? Because I know they don't know what they're talking about, but I'm trying to just triple, double check to make sure so I can move on to the next step. Because they keep doing this. They kept doing it to my girl. They'd be like, oh, you need to do this. And then she'd go through this process, and then they'd be like, oh, you need to do this. And finally, when she completed all the steps, they'd just be like, well, we're just not gonna monetize you. Anyway, but that was saying that she had a YouTube violation. So hoping that maybe the AdSense thing will pan out. Anyways, in the process of trying to figure out what this duplicate account is, I accidentally deleted my daughter's channel. I'm trying to restore it now, but when she was a baby I started it for because I thought it'd be cool to have a channel that followed her whole entire life. And then when she hit a certain age, obviously she'd go pro and then start making real videos, which she just started doing like a week ago. So it's not that big. She's only got like 68 subscribers or something like that. Anyway, she may have to make a new channel. But anyways, in the process of trying to figure out where this other AdSense channel is, or AdSense account is, I'm like, well, maybe they're talking about my daughter's channel. So I moved it over to her name. And then right when I put in her age that she was only 10, I was like, poof, deleted it. Because you can't privately run a channel when you're less than 13. You can have your parent help you with it, or your parent can run a channel with you on it, but you yourself can't own it. So I messaged YouTube, I'm trying to figure that out, so hopefully that gets out soon. And then I found out I'm on the Epstein list. So it was a connecting flight, okay? There was like a 15-hour layover, and it was a connecting flight. It's not a big deal. I don't know why everyone's freaking out about it. But so then there's that. So my last video, I got a whole bunch of comments talking about, well, can you go to black powder? I mean, you can't go to firearms anymore, and yeah, you're a felon, but you still deserve the right to defend yourself. It's not like people are going to be like, I don't want to mess with that guy. He was in prison. That's just not how it works. So the whole black powder loophole, how does that work? What's going on? Can I still have any kind of weapons? What's up with all that? We're going to cover that. So under 18 U.S.C. 921A, subsection 16, I believe it's called subsection. It goes like 920. It goes 18 U.S.C. 921, and then it's got parentheses A, and then parentheses 16. Anyways, so federally, you cannot have ammunition. That's a cartridge with a primer, a projectile on it, brass case, or with shotgun, plastic. That's not okay. That's considered the same thing as a firearm, and I believe even fired casings will still get you hemmed up, which is crazy because a lot of prisons will have the prisoners out there cleaning their gun ranges, picking up all the brass, live and empty casings, because the fact of the matter is that the whole felon for life and can't touch firearms or ammunition is so unrealistic, or not realistic for Americans because they're everywhere, that even while you're incarcerated, you're already breaking that statute. Anyway, so with black powder, because it doesn't have ammunition like that, federally, black powder is okay. However, your state laws can be different. Because basically, federal sets the basement. So we're talking about modern firearms that shoot a cartridge. Smokeless powder, that's the basement. Now, states can take it a level higher. For example, in Wisconsin, a firearm is defined as any weapon that expels a projectile by an action of a gunpowder, black powder, or smokeless powder, accelerating it. So, in Wisconsin, they still consider a black powder firearm, even though it's not considered a firearm federally, is considered a firearm in the state of Wisconsin. So if I got caught with a black powder firearm before I win my appeal, I would pick up another felony. And it's not like I would be the first case to go through this. Like in 2007, we have the state versus Jacoba. The appellate court upheld the possession of a black powder firearm, a muzzle loader, and he was charged with a felony. It's a Class C, up to 10 years. Now, Florida allows pre-1918 replicas. So, like I said, every state's a little bit different. You got to really check with the state laws when you're a felon and see what you can and can't do. Federally, it's just a firearm. That's it. just your standard firearm or ammunition, and it's not clear yet, but it looks like spent casings as well. Now, before we go on any farther, I definitely have to remind you that the store, Only Tactical Fans at Shopify.com, you can purchase this awesome merchandise, which has a Velcro back, and you can stick directly to your range gear, bag, chest carrier, plate carrier, whatever you want to put it. We sell that merch because I'm demonetized on YouTube. And as I was saying in the beginning of the video, it looks like it's going to be indefinitely, so the merch store is going to grow, obviously. It hasn't yet. There's still just, I'm trying to get my feet under me. Man, I want to hit the ground running, but there's just so much to accepting and transitioning back into the world. It's taken me a little time, but ultimately there will be other things there than just support merch, like patches, stickers, magnets, and really, really awesome stuff like that. I'm probably next doing MREs, and then I'm going to start doing tools and stuff like that. So when you go there, there's actually things you want and not just buying stuff to support me. Moving right along. So self-defense options in Wisconsin, obviously firearms are out. Doesn't matter if it's black powder, doesn't matter if it's the old muzzle loader, flintlock, doesn't matter. Completely out. Under 941-29, it's a lifetime ban, unless restored rights, which are very, very rare. That's pretty much not going to happen. And then, so you're like, all right, so, well, what about other options? What do you got here? Well, first, I got to get off probation. Probation takes it to a whole nother level. Probation says you can't have anything that was modified to harm a human. So, a 2x4 with a nail in it would not be okay. My bat with barbed wire wrapped around it would not be okay. They cite nunchucks as the example, like the worst weapon on the face of the earth. Literally a stick that's the same length as extended nunchucks is better than nunchucks. Nunchucks are a horrible weapon. I don't even consider them a weapon. It's more of like a martial arts showpiece. But they use that as the example. That's how hardcore they go by nothing that's been modified to harm a human. So I'm assuming combat knives, swords, pepper spray, tasers, a cord out of the wall with the copper showing so you can zap somebody, all that. None of that's okay. You can have 0 weapons, basically, under probation. Now, when you get off of probation, things do open up depending on your state. Obviously, in Wisconsin, black powder is really not an option. Crossbow is. Some states, you can't even have anything with a trigger mechanism. Again, you have to check your state local laws before you do anything as a felon, because you're in glue here. Well, that's why a lot of people in prison will get spider webs tattooed on them, because once you get caught up in the web, it's really, really hard to not get caught up and go back to prison again. It's considered a spider web. You just can't get out of it. Once you get in the DOJ, you're stuck. So you got to be really careful with that. A lot of states don't even let you have body armor. In Wisconsin, you can't have body armor depending on your felony. And when it says depending on the felony, leaving discretion, you might as well just assume if you're a felon in Wisconsin, you can't even have body armor. They describe it as a garment of the clothing that will slow down and or stop a projectile. So it's pretty specific. You can't even have passive protection. They want you to be 100% vulnerable. And it's the biggest thing with felons, and why it's such a problem is because they don't let people reintegrate back into society once they got caught up in the DOJ. And once you can't reintegrate back into society, you're basically always just waiting to get caught up again. How do you expect somebody to reintegrate if they can't have all their rights back? Well, you can have all your rights back, just not the Second Amendment, because that's the right, that's a bridge too far. Yeah, you're going to have a gun anyway if you really want one, because you're going to do what you want because it's America. But for the people that actually follow laws, they can't have guns. Now, a lot of states too, you got to check pepper spray if you're over the age of 18. Very limited strength. There's actually like a size. You can't have over so many ounces, and it can be over a certain percentage if you're a felon. Bats and knives are somewhat okay sometimes if it's not considered a dangerous weapon. If it's considered a dangerous weapon, well, now you're a felon in possession with a weapon. Tasers possible only if you have a CCW, which most states, including Wisconsin, you're not going to get a CCW if you're a felon, so tasers are out as well. So let's be real. I mean, body armor is out under 941-291. You can't have anything that's basically considered a dangerous weapon. You're not going to have a taser because you can't get a CCW as a felon. Pepper spray, a very, very small amount you can have. Basically, you're limited down to harsh language. So, fight or flight. Like, you're going to want to run. That's your only option. Just avoid anything, and if someone comes at you, you might as well just take the beating or let them kill you or whatever, because you're either going to die or you're going to go back to prison. There's no safe place in there. Even when it's a stand your ground thing, like where you're backed in the corner and you have no choice but to pick up this widget, which is a dangerous weapon, and defend yourself, you're still probably going to prison for being a felon in possession of a dangerous weapon. So it really kind of sucks, but you know, it is what it is. We're just going to deal with this one step at a time and go from there. But again, it all comes down to risk versus reward. Most felons, they just get guns anyway, because why not? They don't really care. Some don't, but most of them do. That's why 85% of them come right back into prison. A lot of it's for felon in possession of a firearm. So that's a decision you got to make for yourself. I'd normally do a disclaimer here and be like, I'm not a life coach or a lawyer, and I'm not trying to give legal advice, but you know what? I've already been through the ringer, and I know that the disclaimers mean nothing. They'll still go to court, and they'll still say what you said, and they'll completely forget about your disclaimer, and they'll be like, he said that they should break the law. So, I mean, that's what it is. It is what it is. We're going to deal with it. The good news is, though, I am going to win my appeal. It's the question of when. Will it be at the 3-judge, 6-judge, or SCOTUS? It's going to happen at some point, and then we're talking about me having firearms again. So until then, I'm just going unarmed. I don't want to take the risk because I know the strength of my case is so great. There's absolutely nothing I want to do to jeopardize that. So I'm not going to carry sharpened scissors. I'm not going to have glue that has toxic films, toxic fumes. That's what I was trying to say. Not going to have glue with toxic film. We're just going to skip that one because it's so dangerous I can't even speak it. That's wild. And the last thing I want to do is catch another felony for talking about dangerous weapons. Anyway, Merry Christmas to everyone. I hope you guys have a great holiday. I got to say for myself, I'm just blessed to be back here with my family, and I'm just blessed to have a house to come back to. And that's all because of you guys and the support you've given me. Thank you. Without you guys helping me as much as you did, I'd probably be at an apartment building right now, and all my assets would be gone, and me and my family would be trying to figure out how to put our lives back together. But because of you, I'm basically able to just jump back into it. Yeah, I'll never get back the time I lost with my kids and the mental stress and all that, but you guys have made my transition back into society a lot easier than most people have it. Anyway, thank you for watching. And if you'd like to help support the channel and you don't want to buy packages or anything like that, there's always another way. You can use my Amazon affiliate links just by clicking on those links in the description. Even if you don't buy what that link is for, just clicking on it and doing the Amazon shopping you're already going to do anyway, that'll kick back for it because you came there off my channel. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.